Oh man, was I excited to review this product and just get my hands on it because the Apple Watch Series 4 was arguably the biggest product Apple released last year at that September keynote. And I have it right here, the Series 4. Let's review it. So to preface my review, I've had this Apple Watch Series 4 44mm space gray, the aluminum LTE version for the past 2 weeks, and I could say the Apple Watch Series 4 is the best Apple Watch ever. And that's kind of obvious. I mean, it's the latest one released, and supposedly Apple's not even going to release an Apple Watch Series 5 this year because honestly the Series 4 is that good. Maybe in 2019 Apple's going to release like a 4.5 version with a newer processor, but that's getting into rumors. Let me get to the real thing right here, the Apple Watch Series 4, and this thing is an absolute beast. And it's just like a complete phone with just a slightly smaller display on your wrist. But talking about that display, man oh man, this OLED display on your wrist is gorgeous. It is now 30% bigger than the Series 3 generation, and it is just gorgeous with those rounded edges, and it makes all your watch faces nice and bright. And you now have those infograph watch faces that you could put like 8 different complications, the infograph modular. I love those watch faces, and that's kind of like an exclusive feature to the Series 4 thanks to that bigger display. And also if you're going like on iMessage and you're trying to text people, using that scribble feature is so much easier on this bigger display. Obviously, in 2019, all the phones are just getting slightly bigger displays every single generation. And now it's kind of been applied to the Apple Watch, and I'm glad to see it because everything you do on the Apple Watch is just bigger and better with this Series 4 display. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I've already said that like 4 times, but it's a gorgeous display. And if you thought the brand new generational features to the Series 4 ended right there with those watch faces and the display, you would be completely wrong because we have a couple more things, and a couple is kind of underestimating it just a little bit. So let's talk about all the brand new health features. There's 2 main ones. One is the one lead ECG. So there's now an electrode in the digital crown and on the back. So that means everyone in the world, except for a few countries around the world, can take an electrocardiogram. And if you're not familiar with what an EKG or ECG is, it just detects your heart's rhythm. So I have sinus rhythm because I'm 16 and my heart is probably perfectly fine since I run like 30 miles a week. But if you're kind of like 80 years old, or you're like my friend on cross country who drinks C4, which is like this energy drink supplement that's not supposed to be consumed under the age of 18, then you're gonna show up with a result called atrial fibrillation, which can show the potential of a heart attack. And no one ever wants a heart attack. So I recommend the Series 4, not only for that reason, for an EKG, but also for the elderly because of this emergency SOS fall detection feature. So let's say you're over the age of 65, then it's automatically enabled, and thanks to this brand new accelerometer and gyroscope, if you fall, and Apple's like tested all the ways that you could fall with your wrist, like boom, 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 then and you're unresponsive on the floor for like a minute, it's automatically gonna turn on emergency SOS. It's gonna call 911 and all of your closest contacts. And that's just 2 main features exclusive to the Series 4. And let's move on to some non-health features, and that's the haptic feedback with this 30% smaller digital crown. And the haptic feedback is every time you move the digital crown just a little bit, it gives you that satisfying click, 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 click. you kind of get used to it after 2 weeks. Like when you first put it on and you're just used to like the series 1, series 2, series 3, you're like, wow, this is like really, really big with some satisfying feedback. But over time, you just kind of get used to it and it kind of falls to the background. But it's a nice little change. And also, I do have to point out this feature because many people might not even know about it, and that's raise to speak to Siri. So no longer do you have to hold the digital crown or say, hey, blank. You could just lift up your wrist and then start speaking, and it's gonna pull up Siri. So you could verbally say, start a workout, or ask for the weather, or in watchOS 6, you could say, what song is this? Many applications for that raise to speak feature thanks to this brand new S4 processor. And overall, going through watchOS 5, it's nice and smooth. So the processor is doing its job. What's the weather tomorrow?
It's not looking good tomorrow. Down to 75 degrees with thunderstorms.
And I don't even know how I forgot, but the Apple Watch Series 4 also received 50% louder speakers. And this one is definitely huge because before, when you were like walking down the street or kind of in a loud environment, let's say in Walmart waiting in the line and you wanted to call someone, you would have to be like, yes, I do want a chocolate bar at Walmart. And then you'd be like, oh no, I can't get a chocolate bar at Walmart. But now with the Series 4, since it's 50% louder speakers, you could hold it just regular arm distance away and you can hear them perfectly fine. So very good. Call Jack Garcia.
Calling Jack Garcia.
Hopefully he picks up. Jack, what's up? Are you ready for school tomorrow?
Am I ready for school tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm hoping you're not going to eat any more of my blueberries.
I'm eating all the blueberries.
And all of like the regular things like the notification dings, the water droplet sound, and of course Mickey Mouse is all 50% louder. And you just have to appreciate that because we got the screen, taptic feedback, raise to speak to Siri, exclusive watch faces, so many features exclusive to Series 4. So it's going to be hard for Apple to just innovate that and provide a whole brand new 5 set of features on the Series 5. That's why there might not be a Series 5 this year. But let's continue with the overall review on the Series 4. If you're one of those Apple Watch users that has the Series 3 LTE, you're gonna know what I'm gonna talk about in a second, but I had their Series 2, then I went to the Series 1, and both of those versions did not have the built-in LTE. But now with the Series 4, I finally upgraded my data plan to unlimited, and I'm paying the $10 a month to get this on the cellular AT&T network. And I gotta say, I love leaving my phone behind and still being connected to the internet and to text and calls. And I could just check any ESPN scores, the weather. You could do everything, even listen to music and podcasts while you're on a run by just taking your Powerbeats Pro or AirPods or any Bluetooth headphones. You could just stream anything you want via the LTE Apple Watch. And I just love leaving my phone behind and just kind of focusing on the world around me because I do have the Instagram app on my Apple Watch, but since it's kind of a smaller display and this is uncomfortable, I'm using my overall phone or watch less and just kind of building relationships with the people around me. So I could thank the Apple Watch for that. And it's kind of making me disconnected from the social media world, but I am still connected to every other outlet, like messages, calls. You know what I'm getting at. And barreling into this next subtopic, and that's battery life. I've been generally surprised by battery life. Like the worst I've ever done in a day is like put the watch on the charger at like midnight after running in the morning and going to a concert and using this thing on LTE. It was at like around 10% at midnight, which was pretty good, but generally I'm ending the day with about 40 to 30%, and this is gonna generally go down and be worse and worse. I'm probably gonna one day end up with a dead Apple Watch Series 4 with all my LTE and workout usage. But right now, perfectly fine, ending the day with 30%, put it to charge overnight. It's at 100% in the morning, you wear the watch the next day, it goes down to 30%, and you just repeat that battery cycle over and over. I originally thought like the battery life on the LTE was gonna be horrendous, but it's marginal. It's not too bad, not too good, but it's enough to be passable. And just overall, the main reason why everyone should probably get an Apple Watch is just for the health benefits. Earlier in this video, I talked about how the Series 4 now has the ability to take an EKG, and if you're over the age of 65 and you're kind of weak and you could potentially just fall unexpectedly, this has fall detection and can contact 911. Both of those are important features, but just to the general Apple Watch ecosystem that's even available on the Apple Watch Series 1 is the overall activity rings, the Breathe app, the future WatchOS 6 noise app. And I gotta say, I am in cross country, so I do have to run actual 3-mile races against like 100 other high schoolers. And just the other day, like 4 days ago, I was in my very first race of the season, and this thing was very helpful in tracking my run miles to get me to my PR or my personal record. I could see that I'm running my record pace, and I'm like, let's go. I'm very happy, and I'm just speeding up to finish. And I could see the whole summary on my phone later on that night. And it's just very helpful. And you could also put pace goals, and while you're running, you can see your rolling mile, your cadence, your heartbeat. And that's all very helpful. So thanks to my Apple Watch, I'm slowly getting a lower and lower 5K time. Right now, I'm at 22:46, and I hope to get to 20 by the end of this cross-country season. But that's really specific on my part. Overall, the Apple Watch Series 4 is a great stand-alone device. It's no longer a companion to the iPhone. It's now its own standalone device, because if I could take this thing out in the world by itself, it's a standalone device. And if this thing could stream music or podcast while tracking a GPS run, while giving my rolling mile, my cadence, my heartbeat, this thing is an absolute beast. Like all those things happening at once, and we still are gonna get some yearly software updates to this thing, WatchOS 7, WatchOS 8, with even more watch faces and features. So yeah, I'm very excited about my $320 used purchase on my Apple Watch Series 4. I 100% recommend it, but if you are in a money pinch, then I guess get the Series 3 LTE, but spending like the $50 or an extra $100 to get the Series 4 is 100% worth it. I love this thing. This thing and the iPad Pro, arguably the two best Apple products that Apple released in 2018. But that's it for me here. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you bless.
3, 2, 1.
DJ Dallas in the backfield. Wildcat look. And he takes off up the middle, and Dallas, the running back, still going. Look at the strength. DJ Dallas in the secondary.